Hello, it's been a while since I did a Kerbal Space Program video. I decided I'd do one just because KSP 2 is out, and I haven't got a chance to play it yet since I don't know if my computer can run it. So I figured it's been years since I did one of these, I'd do another one. And today we're going to be just taking a quick look at this boat I made. Getting this thing to the water is really annoying because these wheels are not extremely stable. Got these parachutes on here to slow myself down before I get to the end of the runway. You can actually see over here, this is all the wheels that pop off when you get into the water, and they just pop right off and you get a flat surface. I've made several of these, but this is the one that seems to be controlling the best. I got all these wings on here, and the way you steer this is you don't use A and D, you actually use Q and E. So you're using like your, what's it called? You're not really controlling it in the same way as a plane. So if you want to steer left, I'd actually hold down E. One of our wheels did actually fall off there. I probably should be going a lot slower, but here's the part where you want to use your parachutes and slow yourself down. I know they have craft editors to get yourself to the water instantly, but I like doing it the fair way, the vanilla way. You don't want to slow down completely because then your chutes will, they'll cut off and you'll have to repack them, and I really don't want to deal with that. Alright, so I'm coming at kind of an angle here, which usually I don't have this problem. Figured happens when I'm on video, of course. Normally I'm straight, now I'm kind of like at a slant. But we are actually cruising right into the water nice, which is good. Usually I kind of flop down, now we're actually just slowly easing it in there. Are we floating? Yep, we're floating. And the parachutes are gone, so you just pop those right off and the boat settles down and you go. This is kind of an annoying part here where you can sometimes get the wheels cut. You can toggle mode. I do like these engines because they have mode switch depending on how fast I want to go. And there you go. You push those out of the way and you are a boat now. I know it's not the coolest looking boat, it is kind of ugly, but it's, practicality over looks. Like I said, E turns you that way, and W, or not W, Q will go, I don't really know my nautical terms, I think it's what, port, starboard, which one you guys know, I probably don't, but yeah, for those of you who know, you can actually kind of put your screen there, you can see the underwater landscape makeup. So this isn't just a decorative thing, this thing actually does function. I made sure that it functions. You can see from the first person view. Top speed is like 31 meters per second, so I did have an issue earlier where these were becoming separated, so this whole thing would fall completely off and you'd have two, and it still kept sailing, it was still functioning, but I had to strut everything together so that wouldn't happen again. That's usually a time warp problem, I think. So we can see if this works, or if it happens again. Nope, it's working on time warp again. So you can sail in that direction, or you can sail in this direction. Slowing down is kind of a hard thing, because you can't use brakes when you're in the water, so what you do is just cut your engines and hold down S, and you'll see that'll slowly tick down there, and it could take like a minute to turn. I tried doing like a rescue mission where I pick up a guy, and by the time I slowed down I was like already 400 meters away from him. So alright, so it took me like 5 or 6 minutes to slow down completely to nothing. I warped to nighttime, just so I'm gonna turn the lights on, see what that looks like. There you go. The lighting is kind of glitchy, but it does work. I put some tiny lights on the bottom. What the hell is that? I guess that's some kind of satellite that I launched. I have no idea what that is. That was really weird. It does not accelerate super fast. I know there are engines that have a reverse thrust thing, which I think the older ones I made did have the reverse thrust, so you can go backward. So we'll go head over to this other boat I made. I won't switch it to target because I wanted to show the regular surface speed. And you can see we are moving at a pretty decent pace. So now we're at 30 meters per second. This is usually as fast as the boat goes. I did kind of overshoot here because I was looking more at my speed. But we'll do kind of a sail by of whatever this is. I think this is the one that broke. Yeah, oh, stars changed. You could see, yeah, that's the one that, unfortunately, oh wait, no. I think that's one from the workshop that I was, yeah, that's a workshop boat that I got. That's something different, I didn't make that. So we sail past that. And now we're turning. It actually turns pretty well for something this big. See from the inside. You do slow down when you turn, of course. Fuel efficiency is pretty good because you have, you know, all these giant fuel tanks and you're really not going very fast at all. So you can pretty much sail wherever you want with this. Getting this thing to completely slow down to 0 is quite annoying, as you could tell. You kind of have to, you know, paddle yourself down. If I brought the engines with reverse thrust, that probably, but yeah. I forgot what it was called, but it's not the turbofan, it's the other jet that's, you know, it's white. That one has the reverse thrust, but they're not as strong as these, and they don't have alternating modes, so I do prefer these ones. Let's get out on EVA here and see that I fully built everything. You have a ladder you can grab onto and climb off the bridge. Turn your headlights on. Okay, I did not test that out, and that's not supposed to happen. So let's see if it does that again. I don't know what that's all about. No, it doesn't have that problem when I'm going up. So you can go up, climb out, go back in, let's go back down. You can always jump down, but I prefer not to do that. It didn't happen this time. That is weird. I don't know. The physics in this game can be a little strange, but you can actually walk around and jump around your boat. Alright, all our chutes are repacked. We're daytime again. We got our solar panels out. Let's see how fast I can stop from full speed with the chutes and see if these hold together and don't fall off. I'm pretty confident they will, because even high speeds won't break them, but you never know. Alright, heading back up that ladder. Alright, so maximum speed is pretty much 31 meters a second. It won't really get any faster than that. Of course, if you turn, it will slow you down. Alright, so we'll cut the engines and see how fast we can slow down here with these parachutes. Do some, okay, you can slow down pretty fast. Pretty good when you get these chutes. Unfortunately, you have to repack them every single time, which is annoying. But at least you have some kind of emergency brake if you need it. Alright, so here's the original one that I made. We're out in the open ocean here. This is way down here. You can see we have less fuel. I sailed this one all the way down. Kind of turned over through this bay. But this one doesn't have any of the fancy stuff on it. It is just a simple... That's it. So let's see if this one maybe moves better a little bit. It does maybe speed up faster. Okay, we're definitely getting a better acceleration on this one. Let's try the turn. I'd say it turns about the same. We aren't really at full speed, but you can turn the lights off. That's unnecessary. Yeah. I'll say it's pretty similar. I probably do prefer the way this one looks, though, simply because it feels less cluttered. I'm thinking this one is actually harder to slow down, though, because there's less drag. It's kind of more smooth. I could be completely... I don't even know if the physics work like that. I think they do, because, you know, this is more of a aerodynamic game. It's not really, you know, designed for boats, but this thing really doesn't want to slow down to 0. Okay, right here we have the very first version I've ever made of one. Well, I don't know if it's the very first, but it's an older version of one of these boats that I made. You can see it's got like half of a plane on the back of it. It's kind of interesting. And these are uneven. It's got a bunch of intakes on the front. And it has these engines, which... they don't reverse, but they don't switch either. So these are the turbo whiplash engines, and it's But it does have these which reverse. So you have partial reversing, and we only have one person in here for some reason. I don't know what happened with this thing. Is an old... Let's see how well this one works compared to the one I just showed you. So you can already tell it does not accelerate quite as well as the first two. Oh, wait, maybe. You have definitely less control because you have way less wings. And I'm starting to remember why I completely scrapped this one, because it has the issue where it slightly likes to turn. It does work pretty well. It's got fuel ducts on it. Oh, right. You know what? I just thought of. I probably should have put those on the other ones too, but it doesn't matter. Pretty similar design overall, but it's a little bit longer, I think. A little bit longer, yeah. A little bit more questionable design here. Let's see how fast this one can go. So again, the speed is pretty much identical. It's 31 meters per second, even with the stronger engines. I don't know if that's a limit with the KSP physics, that water objects can only go a certain speed. I don't think so, but let's see how well this thing turns. Yeah, same controls. You would steer in the opposite direction to steer where you want. This one doesn't steer quite as well. It's fighting me a lot more, but it does still steer. It's a little bit bulkier, well, quite a lot bulkier. This one's, it's 4x wide and it's a lot longer. I remember I was having an issue where they would flame out because it wasn't moving fast enough. But yeah, this thing works too. And it leaves a pretty cool effect back here where the water gets thrown up into the air and you got like shock waves coming up. That's pretty cool. You could see that from space probably. Yep. I'm not even gonna really try to stop this one because it's probably gonna have the worst time slowing down, yeah. But it is slowing down. So, if you ever want to make one of these things, they really aren't hard to make at all. You basically just... I'll give you a little demonstration. You want to start with these kind of fuselages. So we'll go for a new craft, and you go into your fuel tanks. You can pick pretty much any size. You can make one that's smaller. You can make a giant one. I usually go kind of somewhere in the middle. So you want to take the liquid fuel. You don't want oxidizer or anything like that. And you could take a bigger one. You could take a more medium one. Let's just go with that. You want kind of a central piece. So let's say we make it by 3, and then you turn your symmetry on. You want to line it up pretty nice, but you can get away with not making it perfectly lined up. Alright, so next you want to take your adapter and put it on doubles, and yep, that's fine. It looks a little strange, but I'll go with it. I don't care. And then you take you always want your intakes up front. Well, this is just what I do. You could do whatever really, but you get your radial intake. Yeah, you could do that one as well. You have an intake up front, and then basically you kind of repeat this concept on the back. Of course, people probably have a better way to do this. This is just my style. This is kind of the basic way to do it. And you can put whatever kind of engine you want. You could put the one I had, or you can put the one that has the ability to reverse, which is this one, right? Yeah, this one has the ability to reverse thrust, so you might actually... It's a little weaker, but you could do good using this one, so... You got 1, 2, 3 up front, 3 up front. You can put some extra intakes if you want, but I think it might be fine. The next thing I usually do is put these panels on the top. I usually stick them closer together, but I don't really feel like it right now, and I'll strut them together too. This is just so you can, when you're EVA, you can walk on top, maintenance things, run around the place, so you don't constantly be slipping off. It is probably a better idea to snug them together so you don't fall through the gaps, but there we go. Everything is connected. Now you can either make one of those tower bridges, or you can just simply plunk one down. It doesn't really make much of a difference. I like to put bridges because they look cool. And that's the right... You always want to make sure you're, on the right side up, because I have some issues sometimes where I'll do something like that, and you're upside down. So you want to make sure your cabin is facing the right way and is oriented correctly. So this part right here is almost kind of a non-step. It really is dependent. Most people have, you know, the vanilla aircraft editor or the something like KSP edit where they can just land wherever they want without having to worry about the runway nonsense. So if this doesn't apply to you, you can pretty much skip it, but I'm the type of person who is snippy and does it this way. So if you're one of those people, you definitely want to go with these wheels and then these radial decouplers on the side. And you want to kind of angle them slightly more towards down. You could put even struts on it, but I think it's kind of trivial. The amount of wheels you put doesn't really matter. It could be whatever you want as long as it's stable. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, this might look a little strange here, but these wheels do not actually, you know, physically interact, so they won't butt up against each other and destroy anything. That'll, you know, phase right through and be fine, so that's a non-issue. Always remember to add those parachutes on the side or wherever you want to put them, just to slow yourself down. Of course, this is another non-step. Well, actually, you know what? If you want to break in the water too, you can bring them with you, but the parachutes, if you're using inventory editor, are not really a requirement, but they do help for slowing yourself down. Next, you want to add some kind of way to steer yourself, so wings. This is part of the reason why I usually build some kind of bridge, because it helps me put more wings up high, but it isn't really a strict requirement. Put those on there like that. I'm not entirely sure how to really angle them. I kind of just guess most of the time. Getting these to snap on properly can be quite annoying too, because sometimes they just go all over the place. Let me turn snap off. That makes it even worse, or does that help? Let's see. No, that might actually, if I could... Yeah, that'll work. I probably should strut that down. Yeah, I would... That's probably good. Okay, so... this looks a little stupid, but... And then you just... You could put... one will be fine. You put one that's facing in a upward direction, vertically. Make sure it doesn't interfere with your hatch. Always check your hatches, because you want to be able to get out. That's a big deal. I really don't like the way this looks, but I'm just kind of doing this quickly for a basic demonstration, so whatever. Then pretty much the last thing you do is just put lights on if you want, some form of batteries, generators, solar panels, whatever. Give yourself power, make sure everything is strutted together, your stages, of course, is all correct. And then if you're in creative mode, if you're in career mode, you can put all the science stuff on there. But for creative mode, it's really, you don't need it, but I just throw it on there because... Alright, I decided to use craft editor because I couldn't be asked to get this thing in the water, so we'll just drop it right down. Okay, this was a failure, but let's try it with more powerful engines. How about that? Okay, I put all the engines we'll ever need on it. These ones up here are pretty much arbitrary and stupid, but I threw them on there anyway. So let's see how this turns out now. Get rid of that, and go. And I also put extra intake so it doesn't sputter like an idiot. These have no fuel connection, so they won't do it. So these are just dead weight, they're useless, whatever. I really can't be asked to go back, but it's working. It is actually working. Not particularly well. Okay, it's turning. Yep, I see the issue here. No, we are turning. This actually looks kind of cool with these up here. It reminds me of like a hovercraft. Nope, it is working. And we're getting kind of decent speed with it. So there you go. That's how you do it pretty much. It is not hard at all. If you build it correctly, you'll get it much better than this. This is just me throwing it together in 10 minutes. But you could turn that way. You could turn this way, you could do whatever you want with it. You could sail it pretty much anywhere. You have really good fuel, like, stability with these because they don't use up that much fuel. So really, you can go anywhere. Let's head over to the Space Center just to prove that I can, you know, maneuver this thing properly. There we go. We are heading towards the Space Center. This view is not particularly great. That's also another reason why you might want to consider building a bridge, because just clamping it to the surface doesn't work. I think this one's actually faster than the other ones. It would probably be even faster if I did those engines right, but I don't really care. And let's... Where are we heading towards? We're gonna hit the water surface. Okay, so you want to turn ourselves this way. Oh, it turns quite nice, actually. See, you really don't need a whole lot of, like... You just need a couple of these wings, and you're good. These ones I find the best because they got this big giant built-in control surface on them. And you just head yourself down that way. And there we are, we're coasting across the Space Center now. There we go. Let's see it in actual. Real time is more like a bit more modest looking. But it just looks nicer when you speed up. Of course, the physics could glitch out because, you know, you're gonna get some lag because we're sailing past all these wheels, which you really, really, honestly don't need the wheels. You can just use the built-in default, you know, F12 cheat menu and put yourself anywhere. So you really don't need that. I just do it because I'm like that. Let's just see what happens when we ram ourselves into the surface, just for the hell of it. If I can turn that way. Come on, get yourself on the surface. Nope, he's not. Oh, maybe. Maybe we can. Nope, we're just... How... Oh, God. Seizure. I can kind of see what's under there if it would stop doing that flickering bullshit. This thing controls pretty well. I'm a little bit annoyed. I think it just proves that these are, you know, not hard to make. Let's ram it. We're gonna ram it now. Let's do it in real time, though. We'll switch it off when we get close enough. Alright, that should be good. Oh, you can see the light. The beams are actually casting the light down there. That's kind of cool. And we're going, we're going. I don't want to slow myself down too much. I did kind of want to go on a straight angle, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. We're going 28. And it doesn't even blow up. It literally just beaches itself. That is kind of cool. Turn those lights off. Ugh. So these things are pretty durable because they're just, you know... unfortunately, I use the one with oxidizer there. I don't think these have an option for that. I think you just have to put it to 0. Yeah, that's another thing. Remember to turn that off in the options menu and completely just slide it to 0. Yeah, so that's it. That's how you make a boat. It's easy. Anybody could do it.